Knock, knock on the farmhouse door. A nice lady with a Bible and a congratulations. You have been selected. You have been selected. You have been selected. You may now collect your gift from the church. And there she is. The almost perfect girl.
Welcome back to The Hot Child in the City's 13 Nights of Halloween. I'm so excited today because we are talking about probably my favorite film of the year, Longlegs, directed and written by Osgood Perkins, starring Nicolas Cage. Let's get into it. So I love this movie, and I know that people are divided, but you're wrong if you didn't like it.
Why you booing me? I'm right.
I understand that it was marketed poorly, that it was marketed as like the scariest film of the year. I'd say it's more unsettling, but I think the film was just so genius and so interesting, funny at some points, and just outright weird.
Kudos for saying that, for spilling, like seriously, oh my god.
Just a really interesting commentary on family. I love the music, of course, so we have to get into that, and you can go read my Longlegs piece in the episode's description that's on my official website, where I go more into depth about the film, but we're gonna talk a little bit about it today. First, we have to talk about T-Rex, of course, starting right off the bat. In the beginning of the film, the title card reads a lyric from Get It On, Bang a Gong, the T-Rex hit. Well, you're slim and you're weak, you've got the teeth of the Hydra upon you, you're dirty, sweet, and you're my girl. This references Jason and the Argonauts, where after Jason kills the Hydra, he scatters its teeth that later grow into skeletons. In Longlegs, Lee's mother, Ruth, and the accomplice of Longlegs himself, keeps her baby teeth among other mementos. And I found out from Osgood Perkins, not personally, he's not answering my emails, but
get some help.
I found out in an interview, he said that the teeth, the fingernails and the hair were Lee's, the character. Like, the mom is a hoarder and she keeps her fingernails and her hair, not the teeth, I think the teeth are fake, but they are from crew members, like family members. So they asked people like grow their fingernails long over Christmas vacation, and people were just like, you know, trimming their husband's nails, and they're kept in the film, and little locks of hair and stuff.
Little bags of hair, little bags of fingernails. They'd gotten all their friends and family to grow their fingernails out over the break, and then they cut all their friends and family's fingernails. They store them all in these individual bags.
And Oz fought hard to keep that in the film because the editors were like, we gotta cut this out. And he was like, over my dead body.
There were a few times when one of my editors was like, we gotta take that out. And I was like, over my dead body. Like, truly over my dead body, you're gonna take that out. It's too much of a good time.
We also have the song playing at the end credits, Get It On, that is. And I don't know, I think that was a really interesting choice for the last song for the end credits, because it's kind of like, it kind of leaves the movie, it was kind of like the song, a somber note, how the movie ended, and that song kind of brought you back up. Of course, with the little Nicolas Cage tag at the end. I'm trying to avoid spoilers without with kind of saying spoilers. I don't know, it's been a long day.
Stop it.
Later in the film, we see Nicolas Cage, or Longlegs, seated under a poster of Mark Bolan in his basement room. He also plays T-Rex in his car. Oz Perkins declared the character was once a glam rocker. Yeah, a glam rocker who happened to stumble upon Satan, as one does. You can hear the song Jewel playing in his car as well. I believe it's Jewel when he's in the car. I love the use of that song because one of the lines is, the elves are under her. I think that's, let me look up the lyrics. She bathes in thunder, the elves are under her. And there's this whole reference to the man downstairs, which of course is Satan, but it's also a reference to Longlegs himself because he's been in Lee's basement her whole life. So I love using that song, the elves are under her, because he has been living below her entire life. And then we have the paleface makeup, which IndieWire reported that the white makeup was taken directly from the physical appearance of Bob Dylan during his Rolling Thunder review tour. So there we go. We have all of these references to rock and roll, which I love in like a horror movie or a spooky movie because it's not quite so shocking. I don't know. It's just, I'm angry that people didn't like this movie. Moving on, any any excuse to talk about Bob Dylan also. The cosmetic surgery, according to the movie's press notes, Longlegs' face is a result of repeated plastic surgeries gone wrong. Carlo McFarlane, he's the film's special effects artist, stated that Oz had this glam rock vibe in his head. So there's this, you know, this vision, I'd say similar to Michael Jackson, this superficial aesthetic fixation that might lead a person to go under the knife so they could remain forever young. I am personally reminded of Dead and Alive's Pete Burns, because Nicolas Cage also liked the idea of this kind of androgynous look. And yeah, so I think Pete Burns is a good example of that. And there is subliminal messaging through backwards music. So we all tried to listen to Revolution 9 backwards in the dark. No? Comment below if you did. Beatles fans know. Real Beatles fans know, alright?
A fiendish thingy!
Well, the White Album is a good place to start because in the late 1960s there was a lot of hoopla about... I can't believe I wrote hoopla in this piece. I'm like reading my notes, I'm reading this, and I can't believe I wrote hoopla.
Sounds like a lot of...
Hoopla!
It sounds like a lot of...
Hoopla!
Sounds like a...
Hoopla! Hoopla!
There was a lot of commotion about hidden messages in Beatles songs and if they were trying to tell people something and if they were played in reverse. You know, the Paul is dead theory and the song I'm So Tired, for example, really leaned into this conspiracy with fans insisting John Lennon said Paul is a dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him. And in Longlegs, the sound designer Eugene Battaglia was instructed by Perkins that it would be a rock and roll film. That just made me think, this is Battaglia talking, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if this movie, given the fact that Longlegs has themes of hypnotism and mind control, if it was just backed with subliminal stuff in like those 70s rock records with reverse sounds. So this was commonly referred to as backmasking, a tape-to-tape backwards recording technique famously employed by the Beatles. Later Christian groups accused bands like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Queen, and Styx of using subliminal messaging to promote Satanism through this backmasking.
Hello?
Through this backmasking. And it was the White Album that we now know made Charles Manson believe that this band, the Beatles, were reaching out to him through Revelation 9, Book of Revelation. There's no S. Verse 3 states, out of the smoke came forth locusts, and Manson believed that those locusts were the Beatles, and he also believed verse 15 to be a prophecy of Helter Skelter. And I think it's interesting because in Longlegs, he targets girls who, along with their parents, are to be taken out 6 days before or after their 9th birthday. And the character of Lee can be seen investigating a book on the 9 circles of hell. So it's just interesting, I think, to bring up Revolution 9 and Book of Revelation. So the subliminal messaging in Longlegs, a lot of the sound for the film is actually reversed and filled with hidden messages. One being give Longlegs a good score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I find hilarious. And with T-Rex, Oz Perkins told Nicolas Cage about this muse. He was kind of obsessed with them. He watched this documentary on the music of the 1970s in 1971 to be specific, and he just really got into T-Rex and learning more about them. And Nicolas Cage said that his son was learning guitar and that the day prior he was teaching him or told him to listen to the backwards guitar solo on Cosmic Dancer. This is kind of like it was a very poignant film, like it was very, I think things were lining up as it was being created, and after all, rock and roll is the devil's music. Mwah.
Hail Satan. You have been selected. You have been selected. You may now collect your gift from the church. There she is. The almost birthday girl.